Hemp Wizard products are proudly used by former New England Patriots linebacker Brandon Spikes, Suicide Silence guitarist Mark Haleman, Canadian actor Jackson Rowe, Mr. Grimm and Noctis the drummers of Walking Corpse Syndrome, guitarist and vocalist Bub Heaston and bassist Ted Wilson of Black Sasquatch, guitarist and vocalist Adam Hines of Fester, Aaron Witzel, guitarist of Cropsy Maniac, Roy Boy, host of the Licking County Metalheads podcast, Crash Fistfight and Maxine Maxwell, host of the Musicians Hangout podcast, Jeff Towlinski, host of the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. You too can give your beard the magic touch and treat your skin to the finest. Visit hempwizard.net today and use code 20OFF to save 20% off of your entire order.
All right, folks, let's get this started now. Welcome to Thursday night on December the 1st, 2022, live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together where we bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And, guys, welcome to Thursday night. And a little technical difficulties. LinkedIn was preventing me from getting on the air properly. So we would have to do a record-only show, which I don't like to do. We like to be out there with the masses. I want to thank everybody for tuning in during this holiday season. I know everybody's busy, but it's the holidays, and Merry Christmas to you all, and to all a good night. We'll get to that later. Guys, we'll love to hear about your holiday Christmas traditions. Hope you guys have had a great week. It's been a tiring one. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving last week, folks. And we'll have a good show for you tonight. Lots to talk about in the world of sports and music. Metallica's got a new album out. We'll listen to a little bit of a new song. They've got a new tour talked about. That's right. Motley Crue's got a new guitar player. We'll talk a little bit about that and some interesting tidbits about that. We'll get to a lot of Giants and Jets. It's December, and both teams are playing meaningful football. Now, a lot could change week to week. There's still 6 games left. A lot can happen. The Jets looked great last week. The Giants, not necessarily on Thursday night. Wasn't terrible, wasn't great. They didn't win. The Jets had a very impressive win last weekend. Mike White, let's see what Jeff thinks about Mike White tonight. We got Aaron Judge. We got Odell Beckham. We got Motley Crue. We got Metallica. We got Judas Priest at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I got to see some of that performance. We got a lot of football. We got a little bit of soccer. We got a lot to get to. We only got 2.5 hours, maybe a little less. Who the hell knows? But we got to get this show started up tonight. So thanks for tuning into the Hard Rocket Sports Show. And make sure you stick around for the next couple hours while we do our thing. But we can't get this show started properly until I bring on the man Sauce himself, the sexiest man on his side of the screen, and soon to be the centerfold of the Hemp Wizard magazine, Mr. Jeff Towlinski. What's up there, Sauce?
What's up, man?
So good, Jeff. Let me start the show off the way we've started off for the last 8 years, pretty much. Jeff, how was your week?
Oh, difficult week, man. Hard week.
Is there something you want to tell us?
What's that?
Nothing to go over? Is that what you said?
No, it's not even over. I got to go work tomorrow.
Oh, listen, this man is, you're a couple years from retirement. You should be slowing it down.
Yeah, tell them that.
Well, Jeff, it's dark out. It's been reasonably warm out. The weather's been good. How was your Thanksgiving? Did you have a good turkey? How'd it go?
Very good. Everything was successful.
Very nice. I'm glad to hear that. Very successful. That's always good. I had a great time at my parents' house. Mom cooked some great food. Dad was the great host, as he always is. It was a lot of fun. Got to watch the Giants with the family. We all got to hang out. So it was a good Thanksgiving and a great 4 days off for me.
That's probably where it went a little south for you, I guess, right? Watching the Giants.
No, listen, I love watching my team. I disagree with Lou. We'll get to the Giants in a little while, but I disagree with one of the calls my coach made. But listen, it's just Jeff. It's December 1st, and both of our teams, amongst a bunch of others, but our teams are going to be playing some meaningful football games the next few weeks. And how much more could you ask for at this point?
Oh, I hear you, but I think the Giants are slipping a little bit. They've lost
of
3 of
course.
their 4. The Jets, I don't know.
This is a big week for the Jets. This is a big week for the Jets, and I'll tell you why. I mean, it's not a make or break. The Jets have very little play. There's so many teams in the AFC who are vying for a spot. The Jets can't afford. You got Minnesota and you got Buffalo coming up. But we're gonna get to the entire schedule. You got to split at the minimum with this. 2 in a row would be awesome, but 0-2 kills the Jets at this point. For the Giants, they have less. They have a little more leeway because a lot of the teams behind them are 2 or 3 games behind them. So the Giants could slip a little bit, but this is a big week for the Giants. Beating the Redskins and the Eagles and then the Redskins again. These 3 games are very tough for the Giants, and this is going to be a big week. These are going to be some big weeks. But, Jeff, it's December. Most of the last 10 years, we've had nothing to look forward to other than we're playing for playoff spot for draft spots.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But listen, until the Jets are in the playoffs, I'm only looking at my team right now, the Jets. I understand they're a better team and everything else, but this Mike White situation, I can't wait to touch base on that.
We're gonna do that after my dad. Yeah, I do want to get. I'm gonna ask the question now, but don't answer it now. So the question is going to be: at what point do we believe in Mike White, and or even more importantly, at what point do we say, okay, Mike White's not the answer? So we're going to ask that question now, but we're not going to answer it till later. But it's an important one. Because if you go too long, at some point you have to decide, is Zach Wilson your guy? You can't go into next season, Jeff, if you're Joe Douglas, and you don't know if one of these 2 guys is your guy for next year.
Well, listen, you say you don't want to say much about it, but I hear you. But they're not done. There's more tomfoolery to be had, and you watch, it's going to happen.
Well, all right, let's hold off on that. Let's get my dad on. I want to see what he's up to. And then we'll come back and we'll get right into the Mike White, because I think it's probably the most relevant story for us, because the Jets legitimately are really a much more dangerous team than people are thinking about if the quarterback play stays where it is, or at least stays close. So we'll get to that right after my dad and a lot more, guys. We got a lot to talk about. I want to thank the guys from Hemp Wizard. I put a nice order in this week. I got some Christmas gifts, and they sent me a whole bunch of stickers and all that stuff. I got some Kush Mints. Jeff recommended, so I bought a few bottles of Kush Mints, and I bought some lotion. So thank you to the guys at Hemp Wizard. I ordered this stuff on Saturday, and it was at my house on Monday, Jeff. You can't do better than that.
No, they're rather quick. And there was Mike in touch with you to let you know where it was at all times?
Oh, yeah. Listen, he texted me at least 2 or 3 times to say that it was out, that it was on its way, that it's there. So good job by Mike and Joe. And if you guys are out there celebrating the holidays and you want to get some gifts for people who look like Jeff, or your Aunt Edna with a little bit of the whiskers, Kush Mints, my man. Kush Mints or Hemp Wizard Beard Care Co. That's the place to go for your holiday gift-giving needs.
Yep.
So hang in there. Jeff's gonna do his own little commercial for them in a little bit. We got plenty to get to tonight. Lots to talk about. Lots of fun to have, and lots of Christmas stuff. So Jeff, are you officially all decorated for Christmas? Are you all set?
Yeah, we're pretty much all set. The only thing that we've got to put up the real tree.
Okay.
We got to wait on a little bit longer, and we're also I don't know what to do about the outside of the house, to be honest with you.
Why? What's up with the outside? I saw you decorated some around the windows or something, right?
Yeah, I put stuff in the windows, but usually I put lights outside, and I don't know if I want to do that this year or not.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
I pain in the balls, you know what I mean?
It is, but it's the holidays. So I decorated. This year was the first year since we've been here that we threw some decorations. We have lights along the front of the house. I think I sent you a picture.
Yeah,
we have a couple of different things hanging, and we have in the front is the snowmen, the snowman family. We got the mom and dad and a couple of kids, which, by the way, my dad fixed for me today, I believe. And in the back is Santa and Rudolph hanging out in the back, and we're all Christmased out. We got the whole room with the tree and the whole bit, so it's all good. And we'd love to hear from you guys what you guys are doing for Christmas. And Jeff, we're 3-4 short weeks to Christmas. 20
Yeah, this is the
23 days.
part that goes quick.
That's the problem with it, Jeff. You know, it's you wait all year for it to get here, you get all excited, and then all of a sudden it just in a blink and it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, we've been decorated for a month now. We've had it lit for probably 3 weeks. I've been listening to Christmas music every single day for a month. I'm enjoying this year. I will tell you, I'm enjoying every last second of it.
Good.
So we all should.
It's a different feel, a different atmosphere.
It's such a better feel. I mean, even just getting out of the car in the city in the mornings, you know, you get out, you just have that crisp, wintry feel. It's just so nice, man. It's just great. So, guys, stick around. We got a lot to talk about. We'll talk a little about Christmas. I've DVR'd a whole bunch of Christmas movies, so I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm going to watch a whole bunch of them, and we'll get to talk a little bit about our favorite stuff. So let's. I want to ask Jeff, before we get my dad, just the last question. What is the worst Christmas song of all time?
I don't know.
I'll tell you mine.
There are a couple bad ones. Probably Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
12 Days of Christmas.
Oh,
that is the worst Christmas song of all time.
It gives you that there's 12 days of Christmas, and there's not.
It's the first day. I mean, it repeats itself up all back. The song makes no sense. It's the worst one of all time. Having said that, think about it. We'll talk a lot more Christmas, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for hanging around. Let's get my dad on and see what he got to say. What's up, Pop?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good.
How you doing, Mr. Florio?
Good. You're funny, Tommy. Me and Mommy went for breakfast in Perkins off 130, and I was having breakfast, and they were playing Christmas songs. And they were playing that song that I hate.
Which one?
And it's 12 Days of Christmas.
Oh, it's the worst one. Oh, it's the
like
worst.
Julius Lavosa with the da.
It doesn't matter who sings it. If it was Elvis, it was Kiss. I don't care.
It's the
worst Christmas song of all time.
Yeah.
But, wow.
But you know what I was interested in the other day? I hear the money that they're throwing around to Judge.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you. I think it's a waste of money.
I don't disagree. I honestly don't disagree.
You know, he's been with. It's not that he's coming from another team. You know, like A.
Oh boy.
You know, whatever. But he's been with them 4 years? Where have they gone with him?
5 years.
So if they don't change, they ain't going nowhere. They need more than one guy hitting 62 home runs. He may have put boots in the seats. And if that's what you're looking for, then give him the money. But there's so many good ball players out there that could really help them, especially in the infield. The outfield they're loaded with. But the infield, they have problems. And they're looking to give this guy $37 million a year. I'm sorry. He's not worth it.
Yeah, listen, I agree, Pop. I agree. And here's the thing I would say is they made the offer. I would leave it there and tell them, this is what we're giving you. You'll be the captain of the Yankees. You're a Yankee for life. If that doesn't mean enough to you, if you want to go get 40 or 41 or 42 million in San Francisco, good luck to you. That's how I feel. They made a good offer. The offer to me is fair. If he doesn't accept it, take care.
He belongs in the 120 good. I'm sorry. In the 20 million. He doesn't belong in that 30 million.
You know, listen, I get it. You want to offer him a little. Listen, you get it. The season he had. I'm not disagreeing with you, Pop. I think you're right. 5 years he's been here. We've got to no World Series.
No,
we've gone backwards each year. And to be honest with you, he's never stepped up in the playoffs and had a big playoff series. I think he's a really good, maybe even a great ball player, but he's not money-wise a guy I want to sink $37 million every year for the next 8 years.
Yeah,
for the first couple of years, it may work out, but by year 4, 5, 6, you're going to be struggling, and it's going to keep us from getting a better team. So again, Jeff, at some point you got to look up and you got to say, this is the best we can do. Shake hands, and if you don't do it, move on.
Listen, I'm not a big baseball guy.
I got you.
But $37 million Really?
Yeah.
Think about what you're doing for $37 million. He misses chunks of time in his career.
Mhm.
It's not like he's played 5 years and put together 4 good seasons. I mean, they've been good seasons, but I'm talking full time, like, playing.
Yeah.
He missed some chunks of time here and there. So
Sure.
he's getting older. So he's going to be more prone to injury and time off.
Yep.
And I think that it's a risky move at that kind of money.
I agree, especially over that time. Like,
Luxury tax. What are you going to actually get? How are you going to be able to field the rest of the team if you're paying them that much?
well, that's a big thing. If you're the Yankees and you're not spending the money you used to spend, that at some point you're going to put him out there and he's going to look around and it's going to be a bunch of kids from the farms.
They need to be honest with you, they need an infield. They got a couple of players, Lemieux, what do you call D?
Well, I love the fact that they re-signed Rizzo. I thought that was a good move.
Right. They need a shortstop. Now you're going to play Volpe. Okay, that's fine. I understand that.
Yep.
Like the other guy, forget it. But Volpe. But you need a second baseman. Get rid of him.
Yeah, well, there's been talk about it. They just either nobody's interested or they're asking price is too hard. But supposedly he's on the market. There's nobody's bid yet.
They need a third baseman. I'd eat that money up so fast. He's useless. I'm telling you.
I'm not disagreeing, but
he reminds me of a cancer in a team. You could see he's an instigator. He just doesn't.
I'm with you, Pop. I'm with you.
I mean,
like I said, I don't think they're going to part with him.
Maybe if he was a foot taller, those balls that they throw at his eyes, he swings at. Because all he's looking to do is pop one over the fence. He's not looking to make. They need a couple of contact hitters, and they don't have them. I'm sorry, man.
No, I agree, and I would love to see them re-sign Benintendi, but that's questionable right now. I don't know where it's going to go. We'll see. But this team's not done, and if you're going to spend $37 million on Aaron Judge, again, I understand it. You made the offer, but to me, if he comes back and says, I need $42 million, I need $43 million, I would shake his head.
Go to hell.
If you want to go to San Francisco,
go.
And then go.
Play in the freeze in the cold.
I don't put him in the Jeter category. I think he's a better player than Jeter, but Jeter was just one of those guys who was always in the right place at the right time, making the right play. And it's a different feeling for Judge. I like Judge, but I got to be honest with you. If he's not here next year, it's not going to bother me.
I wouldn't lose sleep.
We didn't win with him. We're certainly not going to lose. Maybe we won't win without him, but we didn't win with him.
That's the point that you brought up, Tom, and you said that. And that's a big thing to keep in mind.
Sure.
They haven't done anything with him.
Yeah.
So, you don't know what you're going to do without him. But if you're not doing anything with him, you can't do any worse. How many games do you think that Aaron Judge actually won for the Yankees this year?
I'll say this year, he probably – I would probably tell you he was responsible for 15 wins extra this year. They would have been a 500 team without him. He won, especially early in the season. He was so dominant offensively, and that you have to admit he plays great defense. Where no matter where you play him, center field, left field, right field, the guy's a good outfielder.
But Tommy, it's what we used to call he's not a money ball player.
Well, that's the difference.
He's not a bunny ball player.
Yeah, that's the difference.
What they used to call it.
I agree. I agree with that. And that's the problem, Jeff, is, the big thing people have been talking about on sports radio this week is, well, maybe the Yankee fans pissed him off because in the playoffs, they were booing him. And I said, I would have booed him too. He was 0 for 8 with 7 strikeouts. Of course he's getting booed. I don't care what he did in the regular season. That's the difference. I don't care about the regular season. As a Yankee fan, it's great. You go through it. It was fun to watch 62 homers. Great. But go out and win a couple playoff series, get to the World Series. And Jeff, when you're the guy who hit 62 homers and in the first round of the divisional series, you're 0 for 8 with 7 strikeouts, you're going to get booed.
Yeah, of course you're going to get booed. But you know something? The one thing that everybody fails to mention, it's New York. So he hits one home run, and people are going to stop booing at the very least, and they're going to look at him. And then
100%.
He gets up, he gets a couple doubles, a couple RBIs, maybe it's another home run. Then all of a sudden he's back on the back pages, and everybody loves him again.
100%.
So, it's not, when you're in New York, it's not too far off to become the hero again. So, We're watching it happen right now with Mike White.
It's very it's very stupid. When somebody tells me you shouldn't boo him, who the hell is he that he shouldn't be booed? I mean, you got to be kidding. I seen Mickey Mantle almost jump in the stands because two guys were heckling the hell out of him, and he didn't like it. I mean, you can't take it for $37 million. I've got heckled the hell of a lot less than that. Are you kidding me or what?
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, if you don't have a thick enough skin for New York to play here, you know, when you play well, you're a god. You'll be treated like nobody else ever. But when you don't produce, especially in the playoffs, after turning down $213 million, hitting 62 homers, you're going to hear about it, and rightfully so. I'm sorry. And if you can't take it, then please go play in San Francisco.
Go play in Frisco. Play in Miami.
Yeah,
there's nobody in the stands.
Well, nobody's watching. You're absolutely right.
You got about 20 people.
All
right, I'm going to let you guys go. But Jeff, I got to tell you, Jeff, I'm very impressed with the Jets' defense. Their defensive line, I think, is very good. And as far as the White being the quarterback, I got to tell you, I think he's a good kid. And he's not going to prove himself until he starts beating some of the big boys. I mean, when you beat the Bears last week, I think he's a very good quarterback. I think he shows he's got a lot. Okay, but he's got to beat the big boys. Then you're going to know where he's going. But I think next year they're going to go after a quarterback.
I think so too. And you got to remember something: Jet fans are idiots. All right, because as soon as they get somebody that gets them a win, that's it. They anoint them the second coming.
Well, how many was it? 69, 19, so was it 30, 50 something years now since they had somebody that
53.
And so when you get somebody, you want him, and they tell you, oh, how great this guy is. And then when they get on the set,
when they got Sam Darnold, Tommy, what did I say when they got Sam Darnold?
You said that it was he wasn't going to be the long-term answer.
Well, there you go. I said it as soon as they got him, and he wasn't going to be the long-term answer.
I think they got the nucleus. I think they're going to go better than the Giants.
Nucleus, all right, without a doubt. But even with Zach Wilson, you look at Zach Wilson, he looks like a high schooler. And
he is. You know, I mean, they don't do like they did years ago where you had a pro playing quarterback and would teach this kid. They're taking him out of college and putting him right to the front line.
If you're the second pick in the draft, that's where you belong.
Yeah, but it's still you're playing against guys that are almost 400 pounds. And what can they run the 440? Huh?
Listen, just because they can run fast, you already run faster than them. You know, you want to be the quarterback on an NFL team.
But you got to take a couple of years. You have to take time to learn.
It's a year too. You know, there's no excuses for this kid.
No, I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying, you take a lot of any sport you play, any sport, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, okay, you have to come up and learn. There's a big difference between playing in the minor leagues and in the pros. Same thing with football. You know yourself, playing against college kids is one thing. Playing against the pros, you're dealing with these are big guys you're playing with. And I'm not saying, but I think it's a little bit at a time. But I give the kid credit. I think this White's going to be a good quarterback. And I'm going to let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of it. I'll see you over the weekend.
You got it, Pops. See you over the weekend.
Take care, Jeff.
See you later, Mr. Floro. Be good.
All right.
That's my dad. He comes on every week, and we love having him on the show, giving his opinions and his thoughts. And let's stay right with the Jets. We started before this, and my dad led us back into it, so good job by him. Jeff, real quick, let's get to Mike White. I mean, all right, let's start with, did you watch enough of last week? Did you come away at least saying he's a competent NFL quarterback?
The guy played 2 games in the NFL where he had success.
Right.
Okay. He was drafted by the Dallas Cowboys and somehow escaped Dallas, and they kept Dak Prescott. Okay. He comes to the New York Jets. However, that I didn't study his history, so I don't know which way he came. But I can tell you this much. Okay,
Go ahead.
he was somehow, some way was allowed to leave Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's red flag number one.
Right.
Okay, last year he played for a couple games for the New York Jets. Okay, he had one great game, I believe one so-so type game, and then he blew 2 games. In today's NFL, that makes him a star. Okay. And yet nobody wanted to trade for him. Nobody pursued him in a trade. He wasn't asked to start for the Giants anymore. He just went and he sat on his side of where the bench is, and that was it. Maybe he didn't even dress it for a couple games here and there. So to me, my question is, what has he done? He beat the Chicago Bears in the rain with their second-string quarterback, almost their third-string quarterback, and nobody on defense, and everybody is saying how great of a quarterback this guy is. I'm telling you right now, reality is going to hit and slap people in the teeth. I'm not saying Zach Wilson is the answer. I'm not saying Zach Wilson is better. I'm saying that Mike White is not the answer. If he was, why hasn't he been starting since last year? If he didn't start, why didn't people offer the New York Jets draft picks or something so that he could start on their team? And 3, why was he allowed to leave the Dallas Cowboys? Please answer those questions for me.
Well, I mean, listen, first off, there was no way he's going to be the starter for the New York Jets with Zach Wilson, the number 2 pick in the draft last year.
Okay, so, you're already deviating off the course. I need somebody right now. You're the man. I need somebody to answer those 3 questions.
Well, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think he's the man. I really, honestly, truly, I'm not sure, but I'll say this. This is what I'm going to say. Okay. I don't know what Mike White is. I know that right now he's run the offense better than Zach Wilson.
He ran the offense better than Zach Wilson against the Chicago Bears.
Agreed. Now, again,
juggernaut of the NFC.
I'm with you. Listen. I didn't come out after that and go, "Wow, Zach Wilson, Mike White is a great quarterback." I think you'll see a little bit this week. But again, while Minnesota is one of the best offensive teams in the NFL, they are one of the worst defensive teams, especially in the secondary. So I don't think you're going to get a true test of Mike White till you see Buffalo next week. So
and then if Buffalo loses tonight, they're playing the Patriots. If Buffalo loses tonight, okay, they are going to be one angry team. And
but again, now Buffalo. Let's be honest. And now I picked Buffalo to win it all this year. I know John Marhefka did, but Buffalo might be on that thing where after a certain amount of time, you run out of opportunities, and Buffalo has not looked great this year. So
they haven't.
So
they haven't looked
I definitely want to get the Jets schedule up and talk a little about the Jets, but let's stick on Mike White. So here's the question I have for you, Jeff, and this was something I've been throwing around all week.
Please, before we go any further,
sure.
I asked 3 questions.
Right.
None of the 3 were answered.
I'm with you. I don't know if I can answer them.
You didn't even give an opinion because you know.
All right, go ahead. Go back to your 3 questions. I'm sorry. Let's run through one at a time.
No, you totally blew.
No. Go through one more
because everybody is behind Mike White for the.
No, I'm not behind Mike White. I honestly don't care. I was just impressed that he ran the offense as well as he did. But again, I said the same thing you did. It's the Chicago Bears. They didn't have in the first half of that game. Chicago looked like they could have a chance to win that game. So I didn't come out of there going, "Wow, Mike White's the best quarterback." All I said was, "Here's a guy who I think was 20." Hold on, I wrote it down. I want to make sure I got it right. He was 22 of 28 for 315 yards and 3 TDs in a pouring rainstorm. I'm not telling you he's the be end all, Jeff. I'm with you.
All right, I want to see something. I got to keep going because I want to go to the stats.
All I'm saying is I thought Mike White played well enough to go, okay, I'm intrigued. Doesn't mean I think he's going to – listen, I was intrigued last year, and he shit the bed the second game out. In fact, he got to the point in the second game where he said, "Hey, coach, take me out of the game. I don't want to play anymore."
Well, there you go, right there. And now, if that ain't enough to fucking make you –
to me, I would have – if I was the coach, he would have been cut the day after the game. You don't go out there and say, "I want out of the game." Now, remember, his teammates seem to love this guy. He's gotten more of the receivers, especially Elijah Moore, involved than Zach Wilson ever has. And there seems to be a lot of anti-Zach Wilson in the locker room. So I'm wondering, what do the Jets do, Jeff? If Mike White is okay, average, or a little above, what do they do the rest of the year? Do you go through what happens next year? Is it a Mike White versus Zach Wilson in training camp? There's a lot of intrigue to this year.
There is a lot of intrigue to this, but the whole point of it is that Zach Wilson was the second pick in the draft.
Yep.
If you let this slip through your fingers, and he's the next Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen, or some of these other guys, you're gonna look stupid, and people are gonna second guess every single pick that you make. You can't let this fail. I'm not saying this as a Zach Wilson supporter, Zach Wilson fan. I'm just saying this as a Jet fan and as a host on this show, that Joe Douglas and Salah cannot let Wilson fail and still be looked at as bona fide coaches and GMs in the NFL.
Well, but let me ask you a question, though. All right, so let me ask you this. Let's say Mike White goes out there the rest of the year and goes 3-3, plays relatively well. I'm not saying he lights it up, but he's not bad. He's not terrible. He's above average. How do you, as Joe Douglas or Robert Saleh, go back to Zach Wilson?
Listen, it depends on what 3-3 is. Who does he beat? Did he beat the Bears, the Lions, and one of the other also-rans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then he lost to the other ones? Because Zach Wilson was beating the shit out of teams with backup quarterbacks and subpar teams. So he would have to definitely play hard against Buffalo. They gotta do something. And everybody is on Zach Wilson because he didn't answer a question the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. But okay, but let me give you the schedule. Hold on. Let me give you the Jets schedule because I think it matters. I think you're right. Who do they beat? And let's figure that out. Hold on. So Jets.
And besides, I'm telling you, I'm going on record right now. I just, nobody wants to listen. He failed last year.
I agree with you, but Jeff, people get better. It's not like he couldn't be better this year off of what he learned last year, right?
Where did he get better, Tom? What did he play? Fucking Madden? He was.
I don't know. People get better,
but he wasn't practicing. He wasn't. Zach Wilson should get better. He plays with the first team. He gets all of the reps with the first team. Mike White does not. Mike White practices with the practice squads, rookies looking to make it, free agents looking to make it. He's not like Joe Flacco or Zach Wilson. He's not playing with top-notch talent. He's only going to be as good as the talent around him. Okay? Now, last year, you yourself said that he started fucking up. Rumor has it that he asked Salah to come out of the game.
Correct. That's all true. Yep.
Okay. Yep. So already I'm questioning his fortitude.
I'm with you. Let me give you the schedule. Let's talk real quick. So you're in Minnesota this week. If he goes to Minnesota and wins, is it impressive?
I don't know, because is Minnesota. I don't know much about Minnesota this year. I don't know who they played and everything else. I know that Buffalo went in there and was moving the ball against them. I know that their defense sucks.
Dallas killed them 40-3.
So,
All right, so here's the schedule. Minnesota, then at Buffalo. Then week 15, they come home. They play the next couple of games on Detroit, Jacksonville. They go out to the road on Seattle, and then they finish up in Miami. So there's your last 6 games, Jeff.
All right, so let's take
what games does he have to win? What the games does he have to win and play well in that you'd say, okay, wait a minute?
All of them.
Yeah, he's not going 6-0. It's impossible.
I didn't say you got to go 6-0. You said which games does he have to win and he has to play good in?
Yeah.
Okay, I say all of them. He doesn't have to win them all, but he has to play good in them all.
That's different. Okay, that's fine.
He has to play good in Minnesota. Okay, preferably win. He has to play good against Buffalo. He has to keep it close.
Okay.
He has to beat Detroit, which Detroit has been coming on a tad bit as of late.
Correct.
Okay.
That would be a good win. Yes, at home. Yeah.
He has to beat Jacksonville.
Okay.
Okay. Jacksonville, I don't believe in Jacksonville. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence.
Neither do I.
I just think that team is a wreck.
I'm
I
with you.
think they're the Jets of the 2020s.
I'm with you on that one. Then you finish up with Seattle in Seattle, and then on the road to Miami.
You have to beat Seattle. Seattle is a right now as it stands is a playoff team, playoff caliber team. You have to beat them. Geno Smith somehow, some way is actually playing decent football. You have to beat them.
Okay.
That's what there is to it. The Miami Dolphins. The last time you played them, you played against the third string quarterback. You started against Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
But you need to finish off against Tua, and you need to beat Tua.
I would agree with you that I think that, to me, the key games for me, win or lose in Minnesota doesn't bother me. It doesn't. Win or lose in Buffalo bothers me because if you're the team the Jets think they are with their defense, special teams, and a halfway decent offense, they should be in that game all the way through.
Now, let me stop you in between each one, and I'll tell you why I agree or disagree. One, they need to beat Minnesota. You know why?
Why?
Because it's going to give some credence to Mike White. It's going to give him some confidence. Okay? They need to go into Buffalo. That's the game where they can lose.
But play well.
But they have to play well.
Right.
And I'm not talking they can't lose 35-7. They could lose 28-21, 28-24.
Right. Last drive, who has the ball last type of game, or you're in it to the end. You can't get blown out in that game. You can lose that one, but you got to keep it close.
Yeah.
Here's the two games that I think are important. I think if you're the Jets and you're Mike White, you have to beat Detroit at home in Week 15 and then beat Jacksonville at home. Those are two games. If you're real, you have to win those two games.
Well, you should be winning those games as it is. That's one thing.
Right.
Okay. But if you lose against Buffalo or Minnesota, and you go and you lose one of those two games,
your season's over.
Well, I'm not going to say the season's over because you don't know what the rest of the AFC
True,
is.
But you're trending down, and there's a lot more people nipping at your toes there than in the NFC. So go ahead.
Yeah, but the only ones you got to think of who it is at the time. I understand what you're saying, but you still have to think of who it is at the time because you do have a couple victories over some of these teams, including your own division.
Yep.
You lost 2 to the Patriots, but you beat the Dolphins and you beat the Bills once. I'm pretty sure they're going to split with the Bills. I don't see them sweeping the Bills. I just don't see it. And if they do, there's going to be a lot of talk about what the status of Josh Wilson's going to be or Josh Allen is going to be next year. Okay, especially if he has a bad game.
Yep.
Now, the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars, they should pound the shit out of the Jaguars. And
I agree.
Detroit Lions, that's an iffy one.
That's an interesting game. And you're right. Go ahead.
Because the Detroit Lions, are they trending in the right direction? Are they doing the right thing for themselves? I don't know. We got to see. There's a lot going on with that team. And you got to, for their sake, you got to hope that they're growing. And it certainly sees, hey, Louis Pica, it certainly seems that they're heading in that direction, the Lions.
Yeah. No, again, trending much better. So that's why I say, that's a legitimate team.
If they're 3-1 after those 4, that's a good thing. Good start.
If they're 2-2?
If they're 3-1, I said.
Right, I got you. But what if they're 2-2? What if they let's say they lose? Let's say they beat Minnesota. Let's say they beat Minnesota, lose to Buffalo and Detroit, and then beat the Jaguars. They're 2-2 in that period.
How about this? Let's say that they play well against Minnesota. They lose to the Bills.
Right.
They lose to Detroit, or they even play well in Detroit. Now, when do you reinsert Zach Wilson?
Well, that's the question I'm getting to. At what point?
The Jaguar game is probably the one that Lou Pica. Me, I tell you the truth, I like the Bills better only because I hate the fucking Patriots.
Yeah,
and the Bills need this game.
Yeah, I did a little bit of wagering, Lou, to myself tonight. I like the Bills. I'm a little toss up But I did like the over in this game. I think there'll still be some points scored, but that's just my opinion. Don't go by me. So go, Jeff.
If they're 2-2, I mean, they may still be in it, but they're going to need a boost. Is Zach Wilson the boost? Personally, I don't think that he is.
Right, but so I mean,
we're going to see him again this year, and I bet you that it's going to be against Jacksonville.
Well, that's the question. Is for so now I think hit Luxton. There's a couple easy answers. If even if they lose, but White's playing well, 250 yards a game. He's throwing touchdown passes. The team's moving the ball, but they lose to better teams. Which, listen, they can lose to Minnesota and they can lose to Detroit, Jeff. To Buffalo. Even playing well. Those are two good teams. Probably the best teams in almost the best teams in their conferences at this point. The Jets could lose both those games and still play well. At what point does Mike White deserve to have the job the rest of the year?
I don't know, Tom. It depends on what is their plan.
Right.
Let's see what happens this Sunday. Who's going to be do they dress Zach Wilson?
Well, he wasn't dressed for last week's game. I'm curious. I would say he's probably benched this one. I think Zach Wilson has a chance to get back on the field against Detroit.
Oh, Detroit or Jacksonville at the very least.
I would say, yeah, I would agree with that.
But then again, what happens if Mike White goes out there and he's 11 for 33 with 65 yards and 3 interceptions? He ain't going to play again. What are they going to do next? Throw in Joe Flacco and really fuck it all up?
Oh, there's a lot of that's the problem right now is I think the Jets have to figure out this year, is Zach Wilson their guy? Because here's the problem. If you don't figure it out this year, that's why I almost think either if Zach Wilson doesn't get on the field this year, the Jets are done with him and they're going to go stopgap Garoppolo. I'm going to get to Tom Brady. There's all sorts of rumors about Tom Brady being a free agent next year and wanting to play somewhere else. I don't think he's coming to New York.
Tom Brady will never play for the Jets.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that.
I wouldn't want him.
But here's the thing. If you don't get Zach Wilson back on the field this year, if you're the Jets, you can't have him back next year. It's impossible because you can't go to training camp next year not knowing if he's any better than he was this year, because if he's no better next year, you've set your team backwards.
Yeah, I agree that they kind of have to figure this out.
They need to get him back on the field this year or commit to going in a different direction. I don't think you can go into the season finish the season with Mike White or Joe Flacco as your quarterback and not get Zach Wilson back on the field this year. Now, I'll also say, I don't know if Zach Wilson's been given a fair shot. I mean, he's played parts of 2 seasons. He's been hurt. He's only 2 years in the league coming out of Utah. Has Zach Wilson really gotten a fair chance to be a good quarterback in this league? Are we rushing him through the process?
Oh, let me ask you this. You bring some of this stuff up, and it's some valid points, okay? To me, let's leave the college aspect out of it.
Okay, where with the college doesn't matter.
I say that is because the individual was playing, not the school.
Correct.
Okay? Even though I understand what you're saying, because look at Alabama, how many quarterbacks they've produced.
Correct. Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio State, same thing. Yeah.
Okay. But if he doesn't play well, he doesn't play well. Has he been given a chance? Yeah. But there's a lot going on with that package this year. People claim he's immature because he didn't take the blame for the Jets' loss.
Yep, he did a bad job. Yep, he did a bad job. Yep.
He is 22, 23 years old. He's not a man in the world, and I'm sure that they don't prep you on the, in the back room like, okay, this is what you're going to say that you lost, because just about anything you say could make you look stupid. Look at what Cam Newton did.
Yep.
And he didn't live that down for a number of years. Zach Wilson lost one game. First, they're like, oh, he's making strides. He's playing great. He hasn't turned the ball over. Oh, now he sucks because he threw a couple interceptions. So it's kind of comical when you think about their position and where they are, because all he does is have one bad game. That's it. This kid can't play. He's immature. He's this, he's that. If they kept him in and he went in and he played lights out against Chicago.
Yep.
okay, then people would have been like, oh man, listen, that game was just a bump in the road. The guy's playing great. He's the quarterback of the future. He's probably the best quarterback in New York, this, that, and the other thing.
Yep.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
As far as Mike White, he was drafted in what, the 5th round, 6th round, something like that. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. If he played against Buffalo and he had a great game, or he played against a team that had a great defense, it doesn't matter who played quarterback for the Bears, because he played against the Chicago defense.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no Chicago defense.
No, I got you. Hold on. Somebody's asking me for where we are on Facebook and where they can find us right now. Where over the rainbow there'll be. So we got a lot more Jets and Giants. I want to get to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I got to see what's their names. Judas Priest, so I'm a little pumped up for that. Let's see if I can get this information to Carrie. Let's see. Hold on a second. Hey, there you go, Carrie. You found us. Hello, Carrie Boyce. See, Jeff, everybody's looking. Jeff, I have to tell you, I got a couple compliments this week for us. You want to hear them?
Sure.
I'm not going to say their names because they probably don't. I'm not sure they want their names mentioned, but at least 2 people this week reached out to me to say, hey, I'm watching the show every week. I'm really, really, really enjoying it. And I'm learning a lot watching you guys. Now, one of them said they learned a lot about us cursing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So they said, we learned a lot because you guys curse a lot. The other one said they learned a lot about sports by listening to us. So I just want to say thank you to all of you who do tune in to us every week. Thank you, Carrie and Lupika and everybody else. And it makes it a lot more fun when we do this every Thursday night when we talk, and not only to ourselves, but to you as well. So Merry Christmas, and thank you to all of you guys. And please keep coming back each week. We do this for fun, but it's much more fun when people are paying attention to us. We don't get nobody pays attention to us at home, Jeff, so at least we get some attention here.
My wife doesn't even know where I am right now.
Exactly. So let's finish up the Mike White conversation. I want to get to Judas Priest and then get back to the Giants and a lot of football. But, Jeff, and I want to talk about Metallica and their new song. So I want to get that on too. So let's finish up Mike White. So, Jeff, let's put it on the table. I know you've been down on Mike White. You're not pro Mike White. You're certainly not pro Zach Wilson. What has to happen? At what point do you look up and go, hey, guys, I'm wrong. The guy can play. What's the game he has to win? What's the record? And don't give me 6-0 because it's never going to happen.
No, I never said that it's got to be 6-0. I said that he has to win. I says, and he has to play well. But see, now here's the thing.
Go ahead.
All right. And everybody that I talk to, they all say the same thing and they jump down my throat.
Go ahead.
He was let go by Dallas. Why? Yep. Okay. Nobody's yet answered that question, including yourself.
I don't think any of us know.
He's been let go by Dallas. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2. Or side note, I'll give you 1A and then 1B. Where's Matt Salitri? Because this was a former Dallas Cowboy quarterback. Where is he singing the praises of Mike White?
He's not singing Mike White's praises.
Now, there you go. That's part of 1. Okay. Now 2. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He had a decent game last year, and then he played a couple other games and he didn't do so well. He was asked to get out of the game. He comes in this year and he has 1 great game. Okay. Mm-hmm. So 2 starts amongst 4 or 5 starts in his career, and people think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. How? Why? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you got to stop. You got to stop. The guy had, what body of evidence do you have to promote this guy like he's the second coming of Joe Namath? There is none. There's none. Okay? Then, why did the Dallas Cowboys let him go? Why is everybody saying that he's a great player when he has nothing behind him? Okay. Why didn't anybody contact the Jets last year looking to make a trade? Here's a 3rd round pick. Here's a 4th round pick for Mike White. Nobody did that. We seen Brock Osweiler get money thrown at him where he had a Brinks truck drive up with it to go sign for the Houston Texans.
Yep.
Okay. You seen some of these other quarterbacks, the money they needed wheelbarrows to go to the bank with. They got so much of it because they had 1 or 2 good games. Mm-hmm. Okay. Garoppolo that he had a good season. The San Francisco 49ers kept him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Here's a guy, Mike White. Dude, he wasn't even fucking dressed for some of the games.
Yeah.
Okay. And everybody is going totally batshit. When this plane crashes and burns, then people will turn around and say, well, all right, he wasn't that good. Dallas let him go. Dallas let him go. You've been on this show many times and said that you're not a believer in Dak Prescott and you don't think
I'm not.
Okay. Dallas let him go. They didn't even keep him as a backup.
But I don't even think that's your biggest ammunition. I think you said it right. When he had that great game last year.
There's three sections of that.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your sections.
Well, I told you, Dallas let him go.
Yep.
Okay. Nobody asked the Jets about him in a trade last year after he played a few games.
Right.
So nobody saw anything else that they're like, okay, we want him.
Right.
And what was the other one I said? I just said three things just now. Nobody wanted him. Why hasn't he been starting?
Lou, I can promise you, it's not Ron Jeremy. That I can promise.
It's so. I mean, what is the ammunition for keeping him? Because he had one game.
Do I have a stash working, Jeff? I don't think I got a stash working. Do I?
You know what I'm saying? I could see it now that he said it. I could see it.
You see the Ron Jeremy thing?
Well, I don't know if I say it's Ron Jeremy, but I definitely see a stash coming in.
I haven't shaved in a couple of days. If I don't shave every 3 days, I get a little bit of a growth.
All the years I've known you, I've never seen you once with a mustache.
I had a stash one time in my life. I would say 1990.
Really?
I remember going to, I think, St. Martin, and I had a stash. Didn't last long because I couldn't pull off the stash like my dad. I did the goatee thing for a little while. Other than that, I like the clean shaven look. I'm the clean shaven kind of guy. But if I can literally shave every other day and not even sweat it.
I don't even remember the last time I shaved. I may have to.
Obviously.
Not this. The rest of this.
This
is out of hand. I just haven't had a chance. I just don't feel like shaving it. I need to shave it too.
Well, speaking of which, Jeff,
No.
No? Well, the problem?
No. Just can't do it now. You never know who's reconning.
Okay. All right, no problem. But I'm just talking about Hemp Wizard. I was going to say we do the commercial for Hemp Wizard.
Hemp Wizard, that's another story.
No, the other thing I got you. Yeah. No. I wanted to do say, we're speaking about beards and mustaches and of course skincare products. And if you're out there the holiday season and you're looking for a little bit of something for the gift, for the goodie bags, for the stocking stuffers or for a little gift, by all means, reach out to our good friends at Hemp Wizard Beard Care Co. Those guys had the best product line. I went on their website this week. I placed an order on Saturday. I had it on Monday. And they sent me a whole bunch of swag with it. That's it. And I ordered a bunch of bottles of Cushman's on Jeff's thing. They'll be going out to certain people for the holiday season. And I got the Switchblade skin lotion, hand lotion. So
yeah, what scent is that?
Strawberry.
Okay.
So that will be a stocking stuffer for somebody as well. So if you're out there and you know somebody with a little beard or a big beard like my man Jeff here, or they like some skincare lotions, by all means, hempwizard.net. But Jeff, you tell the story because you're the guy.
Listen, today's December 1st, okay? In 23 days from now, exactly at this moment, you may be sitting at the table and you look down the other end of the table and there she is. Wearing a red Christmas dress with the furry black collar, with her little bag and a little hat because it's cold and she has to take it all hunched over. And there she is, your Aunt Edna, right? But you're looking at her and you say to yourself, I can't. She's got that mole with hair growing out of it like this. The mole is on the side of the face and it's sticking out like this. And she's like, Tom, come here. And you're like, no. But that's when you reach into your pocket and you pull out a little of this stuff. Some Hemp Wizard. You put a little fucking squish over there. and you go over to it and you go like, "Hey, and how you doing?" And you pull it out, make sure it's nice and greased. You soften it up, and then you let it come in. You give her a kiss. Of course, you got to dodge those stray hairs. You might have missed one.
Yeah, you got a little yeah. You watch the red lipstick. You got to watch out for all of that stuff.
Yeah. And because of this, it will be soft. You won't
get pricked.
No, well, pricked, yes, but that's not the word I'm looking for. I don't know if you've seen it nowadays, dude. I don't know if you want that. You may want a time machine and go get her, but I don't know about now.
Now you get ex mad about Matt White, about Mike White.
Okay, yeah. Well, you see it now. Matt, what is your take on
Mike White?
Mike White. Let's see what he has to say. I think that the Cowboys, if he was any good, they wouldn't have let him go. He would have been in a competition.
I think your better position, I thought was a good one, was after he played so well this year, there didn't seem to be any inquiries in the offseason to Mike White's availability.
No, there was none. There was none.
So I think that's your bigger. I think that's the bigger point. And of course, guys, let's finish up. Was it
these points? It's all of these points. This is, he's not starting now. He's starting, and they're starting him now because they have no choice. Because Zach Wilson is not playing good, and they know that Joe Flacco is not the answer.
Right.
So they have to put somebody in there. Who else is roaming around? They can't really pick anybody up at this point in time.
No, they're set where they're going to be right now for the rest of the year. I'd be shocked if they did anything. So, all right. So again, guys, Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom. We do want to get Matt's opinion on Mike White and why maybe the Dallas Cowboys didn't keep him. But Jeff, I want to flip over to 805. I want to get to a little bit of music stuff tonight. First, I want to start with the Judas Priest reunite with original members. Les Binks, KK Downing. I like to play you a little bit. I don't know if you've seen it at all.
No.
Do you want to see a little bit of it?
Go. You can play it. I'll be honest with you. I seen a couple seconds of it. Like I scanned through it, and KK Downing was like by himself.
Yep.
Off to the side. Nobody was really interacting with him.
No, they did. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you see a little bit. Hold on.
Did Rob Halford and KK Downing interact?
Yes.
Really?
Yep. Hold on. I'm going to fast forward. I want to get to some of the stuff a little later because there was some close-ups of Glenn Tipton, and it was very sad to watch Glenn Tipton out there. Hold on.
Yeah, he has no idea he's out there. Now, I heard a rumor.
Yeah, go ahead.
I heard a rumor that Ian Hill said he's no longer the worst guy out on the stage when Glenn Tipton's there. I don't know how true that is.
That can't be possible. Listen, Ian Hill's a lot of things. He's not the best musician on that stage. I thought it was actually pretty good.
He's the best, but he definitely passed Glenn Tipton without a doubt.
I'm not sure. Let's get to a little bit of his acceptance speeches. I'll play a little bit of that. How's that?
Go ahead.
I never met a microphone he didn't love. At the very beginning of tonight's broadcast, they showed a video montage of Mr. Dave Grohl down there spoke about when you have a poster.
Trying to get to the guys in the band. Hold on a second. Talking about Dave Grohl.
My brother Doris and my brother Greg.
Let me ask you something. What was Rob Halford doing behind that young man?
Unspeakable acts, I believe. So.
Oh my God.
He does mention. So I think. Hold on.
Very, very humongous thank you to all the fans and everybody else, of course, the fans in particular.
for staying the test of time with us, many decades, supporting the metal and the band. It's fantastic. I'd like to remember Dave Holland, also inducted here tonight. And from his loved ones, a big thank you as well from him on his behalf. And thank you is what they said. Thank you.
Hold on.
I'd just like to say a big thank you to Judas Priest fans all over the world. People
It's sad. That's very sad.
The power in metal, and just how much strength and support for heavy metal, and how much good it does around the world. We play in small places in the middle of nowhere, 15,000 people, 15,000 ardent heavy metal fans. And people underestimate just how popular metal is and still is.
You can't even understand him,
All through
right?
the years when I was
Keep this short and sweet. As you know, drummers are always the quiet ones in bands. Unless, of course, you happen to be Keith Moon. But very. And you carry that through with you over the years.
You ain't gonna understand a word he
You
says.
realize that you've become the establishment. And people are rebelling against you.
I'm the gay guy in the band.
I gotta go backwards. I gotta hear. Halford's pretty cool. He's pretty funny.
I'm the gay guy in the band.
What he needs to do is ditch that beard at this point in time because he looks like the gay neighbor from down the street.
You know, maybe we should hook him up with Hemp Wizard.
Yeah.
You see, that is what heavy metal is all about. We call ourselves the heavy metal community, which is all-inclusive. It doesn't matter what your sexual identity is, what you look like, color of your skin, faith that you believe in or don't believe in. Everybody's welcome. People on the outside looking in to heavy metal kind of look at us, you know, a little bit scared. But please, you've seen it here tonight. We're all about the power and the emotion and the dedication and the love of heavy metal that we've been carrying for 50 heavy metal years. Like all of us, all of the beautiful people here tonight, all the beautiful talent here tonight. Without our fans, we have nothing. We're nothing without our fans. So we thank each and every one of you here in this building and around the world for your love and support and dedication for what we do. This is a great room. Priest has played a number of times, and it's great to be back inducted in this way to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Brilliant. Quick shout out Bill Kirbishley, Jane Andrews, all of our fabulous people at the label, all the promoters, the radio stations, the radio.
We're gonna ditch. He was basically done at that. He was done at that point. I'd like to play a little more of the songs they did, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I want to play a little more of the songs they did. Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hold on. They finished up with. They did 3 songs.
Incoming was one of the songs.
Yeah, and then they did "Living After Midnight" and "Breaking the Law." So we play a little bit of that for you. Say this, KK and him.
That's KK at the end. That's not KK. Is it?
No, he was standing next to KK a minute. Hold on, let me go back. Hold on, let me go back to it.
That's KK on the outside.
Yeah, KK's on the outside. Here he comes. Watch. KK actually walks away.
Listen, Rob Halford didn't exactly put his arm around him either, you know. It's not like you know.
I want to get to Glenn Tipton solo. All right, that's hey Pete, how are you, pal? How are you, partner? So again, that was a little bit of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Judas Priest. I thought it was actually pretty cool, Jeff, and I'll tell you why. It was short and sweet. While I wouldn't have picked those three songs, I understand why. The why is
they had to do one of those three at least.
Well, two of the three I thought were fine. I think they should have did something from the earlier, Hellbent for Leather, or something from the earlier category. Yeah. Huh?
Something less Binks played on.
Yeah. I understood playing either Breaking the Law or Living After Midnight, but I didn't think you could play both because it's the same era. But I get it. That was the radio stuff. That's the stuff that a lot of people know because of it plays on the radio. So I get it. It wasn't what I would have liked if you. I loved it.
Got him to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, to me, if you would have did Green Manalishi, if you'd have did Hellbent for Leather, Electric Eye, but again, they haven't played together in years with some of these guys. I get it. I thought it was nice. 3 songs. I thought it would have been nice to play a couple more. They all said nice things about each other. Will it lead to something else? I doubt it. But I have to tell you, I would love to see them, instead of bringing out some random guy to play guitar, bring back KK. If you're going to keep going, you got to bring back KK.
It would be nice. It would be nice to see, especially, with Glenn Tipton in the position that he's in.
Yeah.
It would be very nice. But I don't think that it's going to happen.
No, I would agree with you on that. I'd be shocked if it ever did. I don't think that that's where they're headed. But it was nice to finally see what I would say is a real metal band. It's hard to say Metallica is not a real metal band, or some of these other bands that have gotten in the Rock Hall of Fame. But Priest is one of those guys. Obviously, after Sabbath, that you would say he was a founding member, right? We've talked about the Mount Rushmore. We have 3, right? We talk about Sabbath, the Maiden, and Priest. We still haven't really agreed on who the 4th band would be.
Well, there's a lot of bands that you could put on there, but as far as Priest with KK and everything else, I mean, they were going through drummers left and right.
Yep.
But at this point in time, they're all older. Look at Glenn Tipton. You think that they would say, like, come on, man, the money that they would make if they had it.
And they're talking about going out with there's real talk about them going out with Maiden next summer and doing a real old school tour. So that would be huge.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be. I don't know if I'd want to see that though at this point in time.
Yeah, Matt, I'm not putting AC/DC in the Mount Rushmore of metal bands. They're listen, great band, love AC/DC. Can't put them in the Mount Rushmore of metal bands. Rock bands, I don't know. Where do you put them, Jeff?
AC/DC?
Yeah.
You know, you got to remember when they were playing with Bon Scott, they were such a bluesy band.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, once Brian Johnson came, they became a different band. Are they in the Mount Rushmore? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I love AC/DC. I love. I probably like more of the Bon Scott era, but I love Brian Johnson. Again, I love AC/DC. A lot of the new stuff is okay. Carrie, I agree with you.
Yeah, but a lot of that stuff sounds alike too. With AC/DC.
Correct, I agree with you. But again, AC/DC, Mount Rushmore, I can't put them in the rock and roll Mount Rushmore. I certainly can't put them in the metal. I don't consider AC/DC metal. I know they came up in that era of the metal bands where metal was huge, but AC/DC is a bluesy rock band.
They were, well, up until Bon Scott. When Bon Scott died, they became a metal band.
Yeah, I don't know, Jeff. You want to say that Back in Black was a metal album? I agree. After that, is it really metal after that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you listen to the first couple albums with Bon Scott, that's bluesy rock without a
Correct,
doubt.
100%.
And the rest of his stuff with Brian Johnson is more in the vein of Back in Black than anything before Back in Black.
True, but again, I just don't consider them a metal band. I just don't. Carrie, I agree with you, Carrie.
I agree with you on that one, Matt. That's not is not a bluesy album. Hard rock, metal. You know,
yeah, I just have a hard time putting them in the metal category. I just do. I think they're a tremendous rock band, a hard rock. I put them on the tree of, like, you know, I always say this. I always like to do the tree. So the Zeppelin tree is hard rock bands with guys like Van Halen and Kiss and AC/DC, and then the metal tree is Sabbath with, you know, Priest and Maiden and Queensryche and, you know, those kind of bands. I kind of put them on the other tree, the Zeppelin tree, where it's more hard rock, tints of heavy metal, but they're not metal. I just don't put them that one.
I don't know, man. Zeppelin, I don't consider Zeppelin metal.
Neither do I. That's why I say there's two trees of the hard rock world. There's the hard rock.
I'm saying, like, you know, rock, hard rock, bluesy rock.
Yeah.
You know, no.
I put them on. That's why I put Zeppelin for me. I'm not saying that's what you do. I say for me. I think that's the interesting part. And Carrie, I agree. You know, with bands like when it comes to radio stuff, or even with Sirius, a lot of what you hear on Sirius radio for bands like Priest are the same stuff. You know, Screaming for Vengeance, Another Thing Coming, Living After Midnight, Breaking the Law. There's so many. I mean, I never hear Green Manalishi. I never hear Hellbent for Leather. You know, really great songs. I mean, even on some on what's the name of the album? Holy cow, I'm drawing a blank, Jeff. What's the 1980 album? The album Stained Glass, not Stained Glass.
British Steel.
British Steel. There's some other good tunes on that nobody ever plays. You know, so Dio is metal, and Dio is
Grinder, Metal God.
Oh my God, Metal God, Grinder is a great tune.
United.
See, Dio, to me, I love Dio. I think he's my favorite metal singer. The problem I have with Dio is I don't know if there's enough Dio out there to put him on the Mount Rushmore.
Well, there actually is, because if you think about it, he played in Rainbow.
No. I'm talking Dio as a band. I'm not talking Dio as a singer. Dio as a singer, yeah, I agree.
Albums, I'll tell you right now.
How many albums did Dio put out as a solo artist?
As a solo artist?
Yeah, I'm not talking about Rainbow, the stuff with Heaven and Hell, or Black Sabbath, or Elf. I'm just talking about Dio the band. How many albums was it?
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and there might be a live album.
Really? I didn't think there was that many.
And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on Apple Music. There's 6 albums that are live albums. I'm sure they're not all official live albums, but, you know, like
Wasp.
And then everything else that he's put out too.
I like Wasp. I would not say it's my favorite band. I love the fact that Black and Lawless is from Staten Island somehow. So it's always been something that intrigued me. I like Wasp. I don't know if I'd ever run to see them. I think I own a couple Wasp albums somewhere along the line, but
Tom, keep that going. I gotta go.
yeah, I'm with you on that, Matt. I'm a fan of Hard Rocket Sports. Jeff and Tom here on Thursday night, getting ready to watch a little bit of the New England and Buffalo game tonight, and lots of stuff. We'll talk a little Metallica in a minute, a lot because I have a CD Dio box set. Yeah, guys, I love Dio. He's probably my favorite metal singer. I think he's, to me, he's the metal voice. I know people put Halford in that position, Jeff Tate, obviously Bruce Dickinson, but Dio's got the voice for metal. He's also a big New York Giant fan, so that gives some props in my book. But Matt Wasp, I like Blackie Lawless. I think that was a decent band. They had a few good hits. Not my favorite, but no problem on that. Hope you guys have enjoying your holidays. Remember to stick around for the Hard Rocket Sports Show and our December 22nd Christmas show. That's right. We're gonna do a little Christmas show here on December 20. I think it's 22nd. Yeah, 22nd. So make sure you're around for that. And of course, make sure you come back each and every Thursday now and through the end of the year for all the fun that we have here each week. Jeff's off doing the old man peeing thing. I'm pretty sure he's peeing right now. So still has the pipes, man. Matt, when it comes to Sebastian, I wish he would get back together with the boys for Skid Row, because I tell you what, Skid Row has some really great albums. They did a trilogy 3-set. I have the thing. I bought all 3, and it is great stuff. But the singers are average. It's okay. I don't know what the problem is. I guess Sebastian's a jerk off. I guess maybe Snake and the boys are jerk offs. I don't know. But if they can ever figure it out, that would be a lot of fun. I would love to see those guys do some of the modern stuff that they wrote, and of course do all the old stuff with Sebastian and them. Skid Row's got a lot of great tunes. It's just Sebastian seems to be a big turd, and they can't get together with him. So, but he can still sing. The guy's just a maniac. The guy's a mess.
Sebastian Bach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary, you got a lot of box sets, Gary. What's with the box sets? You're a big box set person? You can't buy one album at a time? I got to ask the question, Gary. You got to answer the question. You can't buy just one single album. You got to buy a box set. I don't have any box sets. I might have one box set, Jeff. And if I tell you the name of the band, you probably never even heard of them. I have the Tough box set.
It's pretty fucking gay. That is pretty gay. I'm going on record as saying that's gay.
There's a story behind it. Do you want to hear the story behind it? Rush is one of the great bands of all time. Rush is progressive. They're not rock. They're not metal. But Rush, I just watched Exit Stage Left, the documentary. Boy, I have to tell you, that is officially my third favorite band of all time. Those guys are not only great musicians, but they're funny fucks. And but do you want to know what?
I appreciate Rush, and I could listen to them, but they're not a band that I could say, go on a kick and listen to them for like weeks straight and go through their whole catalog a couple times.
I disagree.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I can listen to those guys every day. The thing about Rush is, here's the contradiction. AC/DC is a band who writes every album and every song exactly the same way. Rush is the difference. Especially those early albums, everything is completely even though it sounds a lot the same because it's the progressive end of it, it's all sounds so different. It's all so completely different. I mean, if you go from like Hemispheres to Moving Pictures and then all the keyboard stuff later on, it's just so different, yet it's the same because of Geddy. But I love Rush. To me, my third favorite band of all time. Do you want to hear the Tough story, or you don't care?
Sure, I'm waiting because this ought to be good.
All right. So my brother, who lives in California, used to be a roommate of the lead singer of Tough.
Oh boy,
Yes.
See, now that's the first thing that you did wrong.
When I went to California to visit my brother, when Dream Theater is above my pay grade. Dream Theater is too much for me. It's just the songs are too long. But anyway, so when my brother, 1999, July of 1999, I went out to visit my brother in California, and I stayed at my brother's house, which is also owned by Stevie Rochelle, who is the lead singer for Tough. And I got to meet Stevie my last day there, and we became sort of friendly, not friends, but friendly. And when I started the show, Stevie gave me a free couple of months of advertising on his website, which is metalsludge.tv. He does it's all like mostly a lot of metal, but mostly like hair metal stuff. And it's kind of like a gossip page. And so at some point he was putting out a box set of Tough albums, and I felt obligated to buy. So I went online and I bought the box set for Tough, signed to me. But Stevie turned it to be a big douchebag and made a post one day about during the height of the inflation a couple months ago, how he went to a gas station. It was like $6 a gallon, and he was happy to pay it because he had achieved financial success, and it didn't bother him to pay $6 a gallon in California. And I said, well, what about all the other people who can't afford it? You're a douchebag. And I blocked him and got rid of him. How's that?
Listen, first of all, if any asshole is proud to spend $6 a gallon on gas,
I would agree.
They have bigger problems than you blocking them. I'll tell you that much.
I would agree with that 100%. As far as Anthrax goes, I've never been the biggest Anthrax fan. I find what's the guitar player's name? I'm drawing a blank.
It's Scott Ian.
Scott Ian. I find him to be a douchebag.
When I was at Maiden in the Brendan Byrne Arena, that's how long ago this was.
Wow, that's got to be 80s.
1988, I believe it was.
Okay.
And not Scott Ian, the other little fuck, Dan Spitz.
Yes.
Came walking by with his girlfriend, who was like 6 inches taller than him. And he had just had this smug look on his face. And I seen him, but the people I was with, they weren't paying attention because he looked like every other guy walking around at the time, you know. And I saw him, and I was like, I didn't even like acknowledge him or anything. And he just walked right past us, and he like had a smirk on his face, waiting for people like, oh God, look at Stan Spitz, it's Stan Spitz. But I'm like, nah, I'm not going to say anything about it.
Yeah, I just say there's a handful of songs I like from Anthrax, but I'm not the biggest fan. Probably the best thing Anthrax did for me was the episode of Married with Children. I thought that was a pretty funny episode. They did a good job. Short of that,
Fistful of Metal was great.
Okay, again, I'm not the biggest Anthrax fan.
That's the first album. After that, it's...
there is a new Metallica album out and a new song out, Jeff. And I know that you had been commenting on it. You're interested in seeing it on the show here and commenting on it.
Show me the picture. What picture? What is he talking about?
Show Jeff the... I can't, Matt. He showed me a picture of Vida Guerra, and it's on my phone.
Send it to me.
I can send it to you, but I can't put it on the air. Hold on. Let me. All right, hold on. I'm glad I don't want to do that in front of Carrie. Start sending these lewd pictures.
Well, I don't think you can in this platform. You have to send it to me via cellular telephone.
I'm going to send it to you via cellular telephone, Jeff. And it's on your phone right now. He actually very nice. He lives
there. It ain't there yet. It's still not there. This is important shit.
You should have it now.
Wait a minute.
Matt is anxious to make sure you see that Vida Guerra is hot, I guess.
That's from 2021. I don't know about that.
That's what he's saying. Matt's claim is that is a recent picture. Matt,
I don't know. I can only go by what he says. It's an interesting picture. I'll tell you that much.
Carrie, I think you're right. I'm with Carrie on this. I think women are worse than men. When I was a correction officer, I worked in the jails. The female jail was 100 times worse. If I tell you what I saw and what I heard in a female jail, it'll make curl your toes, and lose your lunch. So it is what it is. But we'll shoot from last year. Matt's hung up on this one, Jeff. So you're gonna have to comment.
He's fucking 48 years old, bro.
I don't think that bothers anybody, Jeff. I sure don't think that bothers anybody. But so Carrie, yes, I'm afraid to. I blush easy. So
hey, you know what? Here's a video of a picture of her from June 3rd, 2022 that I'm gonna send you. That you're gonna send to Matt.
Okay.
That picture, Matt, that ain't from last year, bro. No way. She has turned into quite a piece of real estate. Send him that one.
It hasn't gotten to me yet. Carrie, that scares the crap out of me. I'd hate to know the stories you've seen and heard. So, oh boy, yeah, I got it, Jeff. I will forward that to Matt.
Yeah, that is good birthing hips.
Anyway, Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom here on a Thursday night, December the 1st. We are 24 days from Christmas. Hang in there. I'm sure you do, Matt. I'm sure you do. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us and spending some time. We got a lot more to talk about. I'm going to play a little Metallica for you here, Jeff. This is the new song. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are, and then I'll give you mine. You ready? Let's.
You know what? I'm going to say that, Matt, I'm not going to get into specifics, but you've just reached a whole new level with me, bro.
All I'm going to say is Matt was supposed to be on the show tonight. He told me last week that he was going to be on the show talking about all of his conspiracy theories about the NFL of rigging and fixing games. But he did not contact me to be on. But let's move on. Yes, Matt thinks that the NFL has rigged a bunch of games this year, and he thinks that
anything is possible.
Well, that's his theory. So let's play a little Metallica, and we'll get a little bit to that. All right, first thing I'm going on record saying there's no way in the world that what's his name's playing that drum part live ever.
Why not?
Lars Eller, I'm sorry. Watch, he's not playing these drum parts. Because he sucks.
He's not that bad.
Lars Ulrich?
That drum part's not that hard. That's just a steady beat.
And what happened to James Hetfield's voice, by the way?
Well, we'll get into that when you're ready to start.
He sounds like James Hetfield via Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I totally agree. And one of my biggest problems with Metallica nowadays is that James Hetfield was a growler in his day. Okay.
He growling, yes.
See it, and he snarled and everything else. And he doesn't sing that way anymore. He actually sings because his old style of singing was too much on his throat and his voice.
But he can't sing. He's a great growler.
Listen, I agree with you.
I mean, this is not even close to old Metallica.
Listen, see how far you made it through the song?
Yeah.
I had already given up. I didn't even think it.
How do you make this the single or the first song you put out there? Like, how do you make this song that? You know what I mean? Uh-oh. Jeff, you there? Hello, Hefe? Hello? Hello, Hefe? Hello? Is anybody hearing me? We lost Jeff. We'll see if he comes back. But I'm not a fan of that song. Yes. Anybody seeing me out there? Matt, Carrie, anybody seeing? Hello? 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 I don't know. I'm still here. Yeah, so Matt's seeing me. All right, let's keep it going while we wait. Matt, why are you still here? Why aren't you watching the Buffalo game? Usually you're bailing on me by 8:00. Well, Jeff, we were still talking with Matt. Matt, you still hearing me? You're seeing me, right, Matt? Carrie, how about you? Yeah, so oh, you watching the game and you got us on, Matt. I am so honored. All right, Matt. Everybody sees me but Jeff. So anyway, guys, Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom, when he's back. Hopefully Jeff's restarting his computer. He'll be back on in a minute. We'll get to some more football. I want to talk about the NFL playoffs or the playoff picture. It's a little early, but we'll also talk a lot. I want to get a little Giants in. I think I did all my music stuff. Let me say, hold on a second. Judas Priest, Metallica. Let's talk about U.S. beating Iran. Great job. But people are talking about that this is soccer World Cup. If you're not a World Cup fan, I apologize. But I do want to get this in because it's a little bit of political. So U.S. beat Iran 1-0. Advanced to the knockout round of the World Cup, of eliminating Iran. And these poor guys from Iran. The first game they wouldn't sing the national anthem, and the government threatened to jail or torture their family if they didn't. So they had to sing. They lost. I'm curious what happens when they go home after that. Do they go home and because they lost to the U.S. Are there ramifications for that? I mean, that's got to be tough. If you're playing for one of these, China, Iran, Iraq. These freaking crazy countries, you go out there and you lose to the U.S. or England or one of the, the allies as they used to be called. I'm curious how they get treated when they go home. That's the sad part. That is definitely the sad part of that. But people are comparing the U.S. win over, Iran to the miracle in Lake Placid, and boys and girls, it ain't even close. I mean, you're talking about at the time. The height of the Cold War. You're talking about two countries, we're heading in different directions. The U.S. was trending down, or it was down, and you're talking about Russia, who was supposed to be the big bear, and that was a geopolitical game of all the most geopolitical game of all time. Nobody should ever compare anything that happens to that game. That game was special and is the greatest sporting event of all time, bar none. Jeff, welcome back.
What are you talking about here?
You're going to go home and play the I was talking about the U.S. beating Iran in the World Cup the other day.
Oh,
How those guys, opening, there are people, Jeff, there's really big protests. I don't know how much you follow it, but there's some huge protests going on in some of these backwards countries, Iran and China, and the players for the World Cup soccer team for Iran, first game would not sing their national anthem during the beginning of the game, and they were threatened that if they didn't start to sing for the future games, their families would be jailed or tortured. And I said, that's got to be really tough. You're talking about a lot of pressure to play in a game. That's the ultimate pressure, I would say.
Hey, listen, going in,
yes,
that this is Iran, okay? They mean business. Yeah. So if they're even saying that, they probably already have family members waiting for you to not do the right thing. You know what I mean? It's a completely different. You want to go, you have to, if you want to leave like Iran and just like I'm going to defect from Iran, you have to have everything in a row and like we're leaving now. There's no like, okay, you go first and I go. You know what I mean? You got to do it all in one shot and that's it, because whoever's left behind pays the price.
Yeah.
And you'll never be able to go back and do anything about it. So, it's not like the United States where like, oh, I'm leaving. And they're like, well, okay, no problem. Here, over there, it's completely different.
No, 100%. And I'm trying to think what country it was. I don't know if it was Iraq or one of those countries that they had sent the team to one of these tournaments. I don't know if it was World Cup or the Olympics. And when they got done so badly that when they got home, they were tortured. They had the bottoms of they were beating them on the bottoms of their feet with a stick. Was it Iraq? And I said to myself, Jesus Christ, that you can't. I mean, I've had coaches yelling and screaming at me. I've had coaches grab my face mask. I've been benched. I've been, all that stuff. But could you imagine going out and losing the game and the punishment is take off your shoes? I'm going to beat your bottom of your feet with a stick. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Over there,
That's when people want to knock this country, boy, you should look at that specifically.
It's fucked up. I'm not saying they're right. Don't get me wrong. They're not. They're far from right.
Yeah.
But this is what they do. This is what they get away with. Because who's going to stop them?
No, 100%. The autocracies, they can do whatever they want. It's I watched a little bit of the World Cup. I'll probably watch a little bit more now. U.S. and the Netherlands on Saturday. So good luck to Team USA. Hopefully they'll win. But it's hard for me to get behind a lot of these teams, Jeff, because they're so backwards in the sense that half of these guys don't stand for the flag and the anthem. And if you're playing for your country, you just got to stand up and salute the flag. I'm sorry, what you do during the week is fine, but when you put the colors on, you got to stand up and you got to sing for the national anthem.
Well, listen, this is where they think that they're getting away with this, and
yes,
and they're not. You know what I mean? And certain countries like.
Well, we lost Jeff again. Oh, I'm by myself again. Hold on, I'm just sending Matt a message. I'm just answering Matt. Matt, again, real sorry to hear that, Matty boy. Jeff's back. Seem you have a little bit of technical difficulties tonight there, Mr. Hefe.
I don't know what happened there. But on my signing back in, I just saw that evidently they have proof that Putin wanted to invade Japan.
Really?
Yeah. Dude, this is bad stuff, man.
Absolutely, and that's the problem with having a commander in chief who's a wilted.
No, this is the problem of having a fucking dictator on the other side of the world that has mental problems and cancer.
And that's part of it too.
And if he decides to nuke the world, it doesn't matter because he's getting nuked now as it is. His own body.
I would say this. I would tell you that I would be shocked if he said push the button, if anybody over there is pushing the button. I get the way he is, but I would think at some point somebody there's going to go, you're out of your freaking mind. I ain't pushing the button.
This is almost going on for a year. And I hear you about the nuclear weapons, ain't nobody come up behind him yet with a gun. So
I agreed. But who knows? I don't see it happening. I believe that cooler heads will prevail. But listen, here's the thing. If it happens, there ain't anything I'm going to do about it. It's just going to be, it is what it is at that moment. You're in the path or you're not in the path. Short of that, buckle up, buttercup. Well, there's not much I can do about it. All I can say is I just hope that somebody on the other side of the world has got a loaded little gun that's close enough to stop the madman. But we're not going to bring the show down at this point. So, Jeff, what did you think of the Metallica song? And why can't they ever write anything that sounded like something they did, 30 or 40 years ago?
I can't give you the answer for that. If I would, I may be able to get in there as the bass player. But it sounded weak. I don't like it. It's the second time or third time that I've heard some of it. I'm not impressed with a lot of different aspects of it. A lot of people saying it sounds like Hit the Lights, which it kind of does. I don't have any reason to listen to them anymore, to be honest with you. I never listened to Hardwired other than this song.
That's the only one I listened to. I'm sorry. I listened to the album. That is the only song that you go. The rest of it, it's like a blur. Like you're sitting there listening, you're not paying attention. That's the one song you go, oh, it's okay. It's not a bad song. It's a decent attempt at an early Metallica song. This is not even close.
I don't want to say they've run their course because
they've matured.
Well, I don't even know if I'd say that, but they're a 60-year-old thrash band. That's nobody's going to take them seriously anymore. Maybe you should go to hard rock route,
Well, I mean, I think at this point for most of these bands, and listen, I'm a huge Maiden fan, and the last few albums for Maiden, to me, everything since Brave New World has been okay. Couple of songs, something decent. This last one did not catch my interest at all. I did not buy it. It's the first Maiden album in a couple of decades that I haven't bought, and I'm not running to get it. I think at some point you just
whatever the fuck it is,
Shinjitsu. At some point, just keep playing the hits, and we'll keep coming to see it. But some of these new things, it's just don't be so. The one thing you say about AC/DC is everything sounds the same because they found what works for them, and they keep doing it today. And I think that all bands should do that. And I don't want to hear experimental Metallica. I just don't want to hear it.
Matt just asked what we think of Triumph. Triumph is a great band.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Allied Forces, World of Fantasy. There's a band that should have been bigger than they actually were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to agree.
Oh my God. Talented, in the vein of Rush, where I think Jeff, a 3-man band sounded like a full orchestra band. I completely underrated band. There's a documentary I'm waiting to get my hands on for those guys, and we had Rick Emmett on the show not too long, about a year or so ago.
Yeah,
and really one of my best moments on the show. Rick Emmett is one of my favorite guitar players, and Triumph's one of my favorite bands. I listen to that stuff. Magic Power, World of Fantasy, Fight the Good Fight, Allied Forces. So many great songs, Jeff.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, a very underrated band, talent wise, but album wise, some really good stuff.
Yeah, they're a good band, man. I never knew. I thought they just kept playing, but they did everything else. I didn't know that until we really spoke to them and shit.
Yeah, they kind of they just didn't make any sense money wise for those guys. And again, they were the Baby Rush band and all of that stuff. But on their own level, they the thing I liked about them, they were not. They touched on the progressive side, but they were really a hard rock band.
Yeah, they were a good band. They were
a
good band.
What the hell are you doing? Are you closing up shop for the night? Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom. Let's talk a little more football. Just get back to the football world, Jeff. Let's go to the playoff picture right now. How's that? We'll do a little playoff picture.
You got something to put up there so we can.
Sure can. I got it up on the screen right now. I'll put it over here and share the screen and bring it up for you. So there it is, Jeff. We're talking on the. Let's go to the AFC side right now, where you have the Chiefs, the Dolphins in the first place in the AFC, the Titans and the Ravens all leading their division, followed by the Bills, Bengals, and Jets. All at this moment have the shot. Now on the bubble, Patriots, the disappointing Chargers, the very disappointing Colts, and then after that, Jeff, but you're talking about teams like the Colts are hanging in there 4-7-1.
Well, the Colts are put in there. I don't think they're hanging in there because I don't think you could put them in with the rest of those teams. I think let's go to the top of on the bubble, and you see the Patriots, Chargers. Those are the two realistic teams. After that, the Colts probably have to win out.
Oh, certainly have to win out. Yeah,
and the Jaguars and Raiders, they're not going to make it, and neither are the Browns. I just don't see it. I do feel as though that the Jets have a decent shot of winning either their division or getting in as a wild card, as does everybody else in the AFC East. So
True.
all of those teams have more than one way to get in. Until somebody gets at least a 2-game lead on that division, and what is the Dolphins' record? Are they 8-3, 9-3, or whatever they are?
8-3 right now. Going to this
8-3.
week's game against the 49ers.
So right now, the Bills are playing the Patriots, correct?
The Patriots are playing the Bills tonight. Yes.
Yeah, and what do we got going on as a score? Anything? Right now, it's Bills 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if our boy, what he's doing. Oh boy.
Not good?
Not good.
Oh, boy.
But it's only the second quarter, but he has a whopping 4 yards.
All right.
Okay. But
Yeah.
as far as that AFC East goes, or AFC side of the picture,
Mhm.
Teams that I could see dropping out are the Bengals.
Okay.
I'm not a big believer in the Bengals. I'm sorry, man. And the Ravens, I think they're going to be they're going to win that AFC North.
I would agree. I would agree with you on that. I think the Bengals are a good team, but not a good team. The Bengals are an interesting team. They're just too up and down for me. I really think your chances right now. The Patriots are probably the only one who have a chance to sneak up into this group. I don't believe that the Chargers are playing well enough. And then after that, you're right, Jeff. 4-7-1, 4-7, 4-7. These teams are not making the playoffs, barring a miracle finish. So the Patriots need to win tonight, I think, to really have a good chance. And they're going to have to hope that either the Jets, who can stumble the next 2 weeks against Minnesota and Buffalo, the Jets could drop, but they're going to hang around right to the end because they are much better than these teams below them.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So interesting right now. I mean, the Chiefs are easily the best team in the AFC right now. They're playing the most consistent football. Miami, surprisingly so, can't knock them. They're winning games. I'm not in love with the Titans or the Ravens. I think it's
somebody has to win those divisions.
I agree with you on that. I think that's exactly it on my part. And again, I think the Bills have been very underachieving for me. No, Jeff, I don't think that at all. Anyway, I Jeff Gary. I don't I think the Bills are on the cusp. If they don't win this year, I think teams have a shelf life of 4 years, and I think the Bills are on that right now. Yeah, Matt, I agree. I think that I don't like the coach for the Chargers. I think he's a bad coach. I don't think he's a bad coach. I just don't think he's a very good coach. I think they're a very soft team. I agree with you on that. I love Eckler. I like Justin Herbert. I think defensively they should be much better than they are. And I think that's part of the problem for them. Would you agree, Jeff?
I think so, man. I agree with you.
Yeah. I have to stop reading your messages, by the way. In the NFC, let's go over to the NFC right now, Jeff, where the Eagles are at the top. And again, showing some chinks in the armor. The Vikings are a great offensive team, but I have to tell you, I think that's a very suspect defense. But, Jeff, they're in a very bad division.
Well, listen, you look at the first team, you got the Eagles. I'm not a believer in the Eagles.
I agree.
You go to the second team, the Vikings.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a believer in the Vikings. I agree with you. They're in the best in the division. The third team, the 49ers, they're tied with the Seahawks, right, for first place?
Yes.
I'm not a big believer in the 49ers either. The Buccaneers, 5-6. Yes, they're a team that somebody has to win their division, and it's them. And I think that they're, especially after this week, they lost another offensive lineman. Then you got the Cowboys. I think, to me, right now, the most solid team in the NFC, to me, is the Cowboys. I feel. I think that they're the best team right now in the NFC.
I disagree with you. I'm not a huge fan, but I got to be honest. I think the best team might be the 49ers right now. I think the 49ers might be all right, Carrie, I'm gonna send it to you, but you might not be happy with it.
What's that?
Nothing, never mind. I'm talking to Carrie offline, but I'm gonna answer it online. Share. Anyway, I think the 49ers, Jeff, might be the best team with the addition of McCaffrey, and the way Garoppolo's playing football and that defense. I think right now the 49ers is a team I wouldn't want to play in the playoffs right now.
I don't know. I mean, listen, I wouldn't be afraid. I think the Eagles are going to come down to earth. The Vikings are going to come down to earth. The Buccaneers, I just don't think they've hit rock bottom yet. I think they're going to get worse. The Dallas Cowboys are the only team to me that has been playing the same course for like the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Like they just a steady team, and they improve slightly, not much, but I just think that right now, I think they're the best team. I think they're better than the Eagles. I don't believe in the Cowboys. And then look at who else is the whole NFC East is in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole AFC East is in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, now again, are the Giants going to be the Giants? Are the Giants going to be the Giants and play? This is a big game for them this week. Okay, you have to beat the Redskins if you have any shot. If you lose this week, then you get Philly, then you get the Redskins again. You have to be 2-3 in these games, and I think this is one of those games you have to win. You're going to be healthier. To me, if you're the Giants, you have to win this game this week.
Well, the Giants have to win all of their games. Pull down on the NFC side of the playoff picture. Let's see what we got and who's running. You got other than the Seahawks, I don't really see the Falcons doing it unless they win the division. And the Lions and Packers, I mean, outside chance at all, but I don't know. At best, an outside chance.
I agree with you. I'm just trying. I'm trying to.
I'm not saying anything bad about the Cowboys. I think that they're the best team in the NFC. I take them. I think they're the most real team, if that makes sense, because it does in my mind, but that means nothing. In the NFC right now, they've been a consistent playoff team. I don't trust the Eagles. I don't think they're a good team. I think the Cowboys could take them. And the rest of the NFC is just, I don't know, they're like wishy-washy. There's no strong team, really. I don't think the Vikings are that strong of a team. No?
I agree. I agree. I'm not a huge fan of the Vikings defense. Offensively, listen, Justin Jefferson, I think Cousins has played better football this year. Jefferson may be the best football player in the league right now. I mean, if I was going to pick one guy, that might be the guy. But their defense is extremely, extremely suspect right now. I would not be jumping through hoops for that team right now, Jeff. But once you get past the Seahawks, who do own the tiebreaker over the Giants, this is the three teams for 6 and 7.
Well, let me ask you something. I mean, Washington's 7-5 right now.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
They've won like 3 or 4 straight right now. Yeah.
Okay, I did not realize that because I don't pay attention to the NFC East.
Yeah, they played really well.
Most dangerous team on both sides. One from the AFC, one from the NFC.
Most dangerous team?
Yeah.
Let's see. I gotta tell you, none of these teams scare me down here. Boy, that's a tough one, Jeff. I mean, the Buccaneers could scare me because they've done it. There's a lot of talent there. I don't know why they're not putting it together.
Well, they got a lot of injuries, but what's his face? Tom Brady there. If he decides to stop fucking playing, he's liable to carry that team.
I agree. I think that's a point I think I had as well, is that yes, he could. I think the other one is Cincinnati. If with Cincinnati healthy, playing well, Cincinnati is a team that could scare me. They could go on a run along the way. Of course, the Bills, and the Chiefs and all that. But I think the team that's kind of lurking in the background is the team I would be nervous about in the AFC. And I guess, and honestly, the Jets, because of their defense. they can match up with a lot of people. Offensively, they don't scare me yet, but defensively, I would be nervous about Cincinnati.
I'm not too worried about Cincinnati, man. I think that I don't want to say overachieved last year, but I that's the best way to describe it. I think they were lucky to get into the Super Bowl. They got hot at the right time. And anytime I watch them play, they just seem inconsistent.
Yes, I agree. Again, they still can't protect the quarterback. A lot of injuries. Obviously, if Mixon's healthy, if they have Chase, there's a lot of talent. T. Higgins, there's a lot of talent on that offense. But again, they're treading water 7-4, much better. But and they're a team that I think is on the rise. And they scare me. But I think they're a team that could easily fall apart at the end of the season. So right now, I will tell you, I think that the Patriots will sneak into the playoffs this year. At which team's expense is the question. I think the Chargers are going to fall short. On the other side, boy, this is a tough one. I don't think the Falcons have any chance.
Well, what's their record? 5-7, I think.
5-7, yes.
And what, they're a game or half a game behind the Buccaneers?
They're let's see. Hold on a second. I can tell you in a second. I think they're a full game. 5-6 versus 5-7. So it's percentage points. They're in second place. Percentage points only because they have more losses than the Tampa does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see them overtaking Tampa. I don't think Brady allows that to happen.
I agree. I think Tampa gets to the playoffs. I agree. I agree with you on that. Yeah. So is it in this side, Jeff? Do the Giants, Washington, or Seattle? Which of the two teams? Which two of these three teams make it to the playoffs?
I think Seattle has a better chance than Washington.
Okay, so you're saying Giants and Seattle making the playoffs?
Well, see, here's the thing. I think that if anything, the Falcons, the Seahawks would have a better shot at challenging for their division. Never mind going after wild card. There's too much clumping up there for a wild card. You got the Cowboys, 49ers, and Redskins all at 7-5 or in that area.
Yeah. The Cowboys are 8-3. The Giants 7-4. Washington 7-5, and Seahawks 6-5.
Yeah, I just don't. I think they have to go after the division because I don't know how many times they've played San Francisco or how many times they may have left to play San Francisco. But I think that may be the easier way to get in than they may have too many tiebreakers against them to get in through the playoffs as a wild card, pretty much.
Yeah. So again, this is it. It's still interesting. There's still, can you believe we're in December and there's still 6 games to play? That's a lot of games left.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be playing to the middle of fucking January, right?
Yeah. I think the first playoff game is January 15th.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I mean, usually at this point, there's 4 games left. You chug in toward the New Year's Eve, and then a week, the next following weekend, you get an open round of the playoffs, and you're 2 weeks later after that. I mean, that's January 1st is a Sunday. Your first game of the playoffs is 2 weeks later. So boy, there's a lot of football left to be played. Giles has to beat the Eagles in a couple of weeks. But keep in mind, whoever wins that division, the Cowboys and Eagles are going to have to play again in the playoffs. Yeah, Matt, I think for sure, I think there's 3 teams coming out of the NFC East. I think there could possibly be 4 teams coming out of the AFC East. I honestly believe that you could get the whole wild card out of the AFC East right now.
I think so. Huh? I believe that. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think that it really could come down to Cincinnati, the Jets, and the Patriots. It's 1 game separating the 3 teams at this point. Yeah, I really do. And I do believe, I think Seattle will sneak into the playoffs. It's just going to be at which teams, against which team. Is it the Giants or Washington? I think this week's the big week. If I think whatever team wins this week, Skins or Giants, makes the playoffs. I do. I just think that changes the momentum right now. The Giants have none. They've lost 3 or 4. And Washington's won a bunch of games in a row. I think they've won 4 straight. Not impressively, Jeff. I do believe that the winner this week gets the playoff nod because they'll leave maybe 1, tops 2 more wins of the final 5.
Well, there's still plenty of time left. So, whatever could happen, these teams could get a second win late,
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, listen, you can lose 2 straight and win the last 4, and you've had a great season. There's still 6 games to play. But lots.
A lot of football.
Yeah, it's a lot of football. I think it's interesting right now, Jeff, the side note, and I want to finish up with a couple of things on the football end. First off, Deshaun Watson gets back on the field this week. And, I heard that I believe the lawyer for the plaintiffs is bringing 10 women of 10 of his accusers to the game. Now I say, what's the sense, Jeff? Now, I'm no Deshaun Watson fan. I think the guy should be barred from football. I think he's a predator. But you've already settled this lawsuit with him. Why would you do that? I don't understand that one.
I don't know, Tom. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that there's much to worry about at this point in time because he's playing football. So I think that the NFL is looking at it as it's pretty much over. Mm-hmm. They didn't find him guilty in a court of law. What else could they possibly be looking to do? Like, you just, looking to come there and what are you going to start cheering against him? I don't think that it's going to really matter to him.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I think there's a sense, what if you're Cleveland and right now Cleveland, let's see where Cleveland is in the playoff tree, Jeff. Cleveland is number 13. Yeah, they're number 13, 4-7 in a very bad AFC North division. To me, they got to get him on the field just to see what he's got left in the tank. Let me ask you a question. Do you think there's if he goes out there and is just terrible and they lose 4 out of 6 games, do you think there's any cause for concern, or do you just chalk up to say the guy hasn't played in 2 years? Let's let him go out there and play football this year.
I think you definitely have to blame it on him not playing football in like 700 days. I think he said it was.
Yeah.
So that's a long, long time.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I think it's interesting. Second thing I want to bring up is let me get this off to stop sharing. Next thing I want to bring up is Aaron Rodgers. Now, here's a team that's 4-7, probably have no chance to make the playoffs. He's had a very tough season, injury-wise, all that stuff. If you're, he has all the cards. I think he can basically stay around. They have to pay him a $50 million next year, $40-something million next year.
It's over that. I thought it was like $56 million or 50.
Yeah,
it's some insane amount of money.
If you're Green Bay, you almost got to hope either he has a season-ending, career-ending injury, or you want him to retire, because you can't possibly want him back next year.
No, I wouldn't want him.
No way, Matt. I totally disagree. I don't think the guy's got any heart. I think if he went to another team, regardless, I think the only team in the world you can send him to that he might want to play for is going back to California and playing for Frisco. So, but 3 years, absolutely not. I would never bring him back. He does not look the same guy, Jeff. I think
that Aaron Rodgers, I think that Tom Brady set the bar at his age so high.
Yep.
That people like Aaron Rodgers are still in the league.
Yeah.
Drew Brees stayed in the league a year too long. Roethlisberger stayed in the league a year too long. And some of these other guys, because they're like, well, he's 45 and still playing, so now I'm 40. No, because he's old. I don't think that if he was such a great passer, he would make Green Bay a little bit better, I feel.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would not. Again, if you're the Jets, you need to build for the future. Now, again, here's the interesting question. I'll take it over to Brady. You brought him up. There's a question there are people out there who think this is not Brady's last year. It's his last year in Tampa. There are people who think Brady wants to play somewhere else next year. He's divorced. Why not? He's still playing good football. He's not great. He's still better than half the guys in the league, Jeff. Is there a possible landing spot for Tom Brady?
Carolina.
See, I think he wants to go to. To me, the one spot
he
is
wants
Frisco,
a place where he could win.
Frisco.
That's what he wants.
He's from that area. They're close to being a winning team. And to me, you give him a year. You give him a 2-year deal, one guaranteed, and he mentors Jordan Love for another year. Who, by the way, man, I told you would be a bust and is a bust. I think Tom Brady playing another year is interesting.
Tom Brady, I would love to see his leg get twisted around a couple times.
I know you do, but guy's 40.
The wrong way.
The guy's 45 years old and he's still playing great football. I'm just telling you. Speaking of good football, what's not being played good football is in Denver with your boy Russell Wilson. If you're Denver, you got to be regretting that contract. Oh boy, his teammates don't like him. He's getting ripped by fans. Social media's tearing him apart. He has a birthday party and less than half the guys on his team show up. I have to tell you, he may be the most unlikable guy in the league.
Listen, it's possible.
Yeah, it's crazy, boy. I gotta tell you, Russell Wilson. Let me ask you. I'll just try to figure this out now. What is the most disappointing contract in the league right now? Is it Aaron Rodgers and his crazy $40-something million deal? Is it Russell Wilson? There's a third guy I had in my head. Who's the third guy with a bad contract, Jeff?
Well, you'll have to find him as far as I'm concerned, because my vote is Russell Wilson. I think that Aaron Rodgers has also been allegedly dealing with a thumb injury or something this year.
Yes, he has been. But he's going to play this week. He's back in this week.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't really miss any time with it, right?
No. I don't know if he missed the end of last game. I know Jordan Love finished up the Monday night game. The Monday night against the Eagles, he finished up. I kind of got to see him play. But interesting. It's going to be an interesting off season when we get there. There's going to be another year, Jeff, of quarterback movement that we have never seen before. Quarterbacks are going everywhere this year.
Yeah.
Carolina needs a quarterback, right? The Saints are going to need a quarterback. Tampa's going to need one.
There ain't going to be enough people to fill these voids, is there?
Tampa's going to need a quarterback. There's a chance the Jets are going to need a quarterback, right? I would say.
Anybody else?
I'm trying to think. What other team? The Redskins, maybe. I don't know if they're sold on Taylor Heineke. I don't think you're going to see Wentz back there again. The Colts are going to need a quarterback, right? I mean, Matt Ryan's not going back there for another year of that. So the question's going to be, what happens if Jimmy Garoppolo gets that team back to the Super Bowl? Are they gonna jettison him again and go with Trey Lance? What happens if Jimmy G gets to the Super Bowl or close to it?
Good question.
Yeah.
Good question.
I agree, Matt. Redskins are going to need a quarterback. There's a bunch of teams that are going to need quarterbacks this year. It's going to be interesting to see who gets signed and where. I think the interesting ones are going to be Aaron Rodgers. I think Brady. What does Brady do? Is he going to announce another retirement? I don't think he will. I think he's going to play another year.
I think he retires and he goes back out with his that hideous fucking ex-wife. That is one ugly looking woman.
Which one, Giselle?
Giselle, yeah.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I think Giselle Bundchen is the most overrated woman in the world.
One of, yeah.
Yeah, because they slap. It's like years ago when they used to talk about how Julia Roberts was Pretty Woman. She's the most beautiful woman around. I don't see it. Julia Roberts was absolutely.
I didn't think she was that pretty.
Jeff, Carrie said she was not offended by the pictures. I forwarded it to her.
Okay, which picture?
The birthing hips birthing one.
Oh, the one that I sent?
Yes, the one you sent.
It was Vita Guerrera. I don't know. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it other than that she's got some big ass hips. Then she'll be tainted, Matt. Why would you want that? Why do you want?
Tom Brady's going to go through the Victoria's Secret catalog, literally.
Please.
Yes. Tom Brady is going to be going through the Victoria's Secret catalog and checking off the boxes. Vita Guerrera won't even be in his realm.
He's laying in a hotel room somewhere now with his Victoria's Secrets catalog.
I think he's going to be hanging out with Deshaun Watson at the.
He's the new Deshaun Watson.
Yes, yeah. In about 2 years, there's going to be a big lawsuit, the Tom Brady lawsuit.
Yeah.
Have all these people who went to the Tom Brady house. He'll have baskets.
They'll release pictures of Little Tom, and that's exactly what it is. Little Tom.
What if? How much would it bother you if it comes out Tom Brady's got the hammer working? Would it bother you if he's dropping a hammer on people?
No. I mean, why would it bother me? I don't give a fuck about that.
No, because you would if there was a scandal and they put up the Tom Brady hammer pictures and he's poking the cap gun, you would be thrilled. You would be on the air going, I told you.
I would laugh at anybody
right.
that got caught and doing something stupid like sending pictures of a fucking wanger, and meanwhile they ain't got nothing to send. That it's it's like a mushroom with all cap, no stem. I would laugh at anybody with that.
But especially Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Matt's got. I don't know, Carrie. You might want to jump off the air, Matt.
It's a football game on, Matt. What the fuck? What's going on down there? Usually leave us by now.
That's what I said. Usually 8:00, 8:15. Matt slide it off. He's gone.
What is it, a different game in Florida or something?
I think Matt's got the tequila like Tiger Woods. Now I'd be happy to tell you I have no idea what Tiger
Woods is scratching post. I have no idea what it is.
I have no idea what kind of club he's wielding.
Oh, look at this guy.
All right, now we got to go look up Veronica Parasso. Hold on a second. Now I got to go off screen. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
All right, I don't know. I did look her up. I'm not going to comment, Jeff. I'm going to leave it to that. How's that?
I hit the follow button by accident.
Is you following Veronica now?
I wonder if she'll follow me back. She's all right.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know, Matt. I don't know.
Does she make jogging videos, Matt? Is that what she does?
So, Carrie, you say Tiger Woods has a small club? Is that what you're trying to say? I think Carrie's trying to say that, Jeff.
Sand wedge.
He has a sand wedge. He's chipping where everybody else putting.
Everybody else has a driver. He's chipping.
Hard Rockin' Sports, Jeff and Tom. We're going to close it up right now. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you guys stick around for the next few weeks. We got plenty of shows to get to, and we got some guests. I spoke to, I won't say I spoke to Pamela Moore, but I spoke to her people. Pamela Moore will be joining us in the near future. Tommy John will be on soon. I just got to get off my ass and book it. And we got a lot more coming up. Hopefully, Matt will join us in person one of these weeks. He keeps promising me. I want to hear his conspiracy theories. But in the meantime, stick around. We got a lot to get to over the next few weeks. So, Jeff, we're gonna wrap this one up. Call it a night. Thanks to everybody paying attention, including Matt and Carrie and Lupika and a bunch of people who said hello online. Thanks to my dad for popping in tonight. Thanks to everybody for watching and listening along and having some fun with us. Had a little bit of technical difficulties on my part and Jeff's part. The woodwork that tell you the woman that came out of the woodwork. There was a bunch of those women, Carrie. You have to be more specific. Rachel Yucatel was the most popular one. I'm not sure, but there's a whole bunch of those ladies who popped in. Howard Stern did a whole beauty pageant on the women who Tiger had an affair with. So you have to be a little more specific.
Yo,
but anyway,
Little Tiger.
Little Tiger was a cub.
Lil. L-I-L. So speaking of Lil,
Go
I
ahead.
gotta ask something.
Go ahead.
You played the first show today and opened it up with Dominic the Donkey.
I did.
Was that geared towards anyone?
Well, it's always in memory of our dear what do we call it? Vertically challenged friend.
A little schnookdoodles.
Yes, he has been a little under the weather. He's been in physical therapy, so I thought I'd play a little Dominic the Donkey to open up the original show. But we did not talk to him this week. We have not spoken to him. So, but
Yeah, well, you got to think that poor little guy.
yeah, listen, man's got a lot of challenges. Jeff needs to parachute into a mailbox. He needs he needs a lifeboat to cross a puddle. There's much to be challenged in the man's life.
Yes. And if we heard us talking about him now, I don't know, man. It's not good. It's not good.
It's not good. So, I'll give Jeff the final words for tonight, and then I'll close up the show right after. Jeff, what do you got?
I'm much taller than Dom.
Your beard is taller than Dom. You can hide Dom in your beard.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm trying to think. Do we have anything here with him? There's nothing.
No, we have nothing. So we'll try to get the little man on in the future. In the meantime, we're going to wrap this one up. Thanks for everybody for tuning in and listening. Thanks for hanging around. We got a lot we've had a lot of fun tonight, even with the technical difficulties. And thanks for everybody sticking around with us and doing all of that. So for Jeff and myself, have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, a great weekend. It's going to be nice and warm here on the East Coast. And have a great rest of your week. We'll see you back here next Thursday night when we do this all over again. So please tell all your friends. Let them know that the Hard Rock and Sports Show is out there, and we'd love to have you joining us. So for Jeff Tomwinski, myself, and everybody here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show, I say thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging around, and we'll see you all again here next week. Hefe, I will see you soon, and I will talk to you off the air.
You got it, man.
All right, pal. Talk to you soon.
Later.
Later.